Federal employees began receiving furlough notices today as the sequestration budget cuts begin going into effect. Over 1 million federal workers face the possibility of unpaid time off, although not just yet, because the government is required to give 30 days notice.
It is happening, and it was expected to happen. We've known for a while that Congress would not reach a deal to stave off the automatic budget cuts known as sequestration. So by law, as you mentioned, agencies have to give 30 days notice. So the furloughs won't actually kick in until April. But it's, of course, very concerning because we're not entirely sure when there will be any kind of agreement that would replace or retool those sequestration-related cuts, and therefore these furloughs could drag on for anywhere from 1 to several months, depending on how this shakes out. Because of that blame game that we've sort of become accustomed to witnessing and the partisan bickering, the real problem is actually the uncertainty. And you know, businesses and agencies aren't able to really plan around anything because they just don't know ultimately what any kind of deficit reduction package is going to look like, when a budget's going to be passed, and what any of that is going to look like in terms of their own funding prospects. Now, the other thing is, the way the sequestration was designed is that the cuts were supposed to be so ominous that they would force Congress to pass some kind of agreement because, you know, anything would have been better in theory than allowing the sequester to take effect. The cuts are sort of, you know, an indiscriminate tool that doesn't really enable people to plan for anything. And that's what a lot of the problem I think that you're hearing about from a lot of the people who are affected is about. I mean, you know, people just don't know what's next, and they have no idea whether this is going to drag out until September, which is the end of the fiscal year, and whether $85 billion of sequestration-related cuts will remain in effect, or if this is going to be solved in about 4 weeks in the context of the continuing resolution or funding for the government, which expires on March 27th.